Uh, it's Friday night, and I want you to see we're coming to you on Knowledge is Love B. Yes, it's me, the E, Biggie Astrology, and a flow bringing you the poetry, the potency. You know it just flows. Lyrically, I go, I stick up my nose, but stay humble, confident, and cocky. Don't sleep, I'll knock you out like Rocky. But we're talking about the love, language, and the dough. Money is Friday, that's the way to go. The ladies, the chocolate. Yes, I got a rocket. Dropping this knowledge from my third socket. Yes, it's the third eye. I'm the type of guy. I got to know astrologer with me here, you guys. Her name is Valeria Sofia, you know, astrologist and yoga teacher with the flow. How do you know and how do you go? It's a Friday, the love language we will show. Breaking it down, Venus through the signs. Don't you see I got an elevated mind? I'm nice with minds. I'm from the city with the gritty. NYC. No pity, competition is none. I get the job done lyrically on the microphone. You know I'm number one. Call me complete. You can call me pleasy. I spit it smooth, never really sleazy. I appease thee, the audience you see. Knowledge is love. Time to start the show, B. Knowledge.
I love it.
What's
It's
up,
amazing.
y'all? How you doing? It's your boy Eric Taylor, Big E Astrology, episode 143 of my Knowledge is Love podcast. And tonight, with my amazing guest, Valeria Sofia, astrologist and yoga teacher, and so much more, as she will share with you, we will be discussing Venus, love, and relationships through all the signs. Hello, my friend. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I am vibrating with so much love. We're taking off into Venus right now. The portal has opened and our hearts are wide open and we're talking everything love. So this is going to be amazing.
Oh, that's good. I'm so excited to have you join me. I met Valeria through Instagram. I saw her page and she was dropping some astrology knowledge like on a new moon or something. And I was like, who is this? I was like, okay, I feel you. I see you, sis. I see you rocking. So we finally connected and long time over, due. I was like, wow. And then, you guys, it's fitting. Not only that it's Friday, we're talking about Venus. Venus is in Leo forever, forever, ever. She's a Venus in Leo. Libra sun, Libra rising, and a Taurus moon. I have never had a more Venusian guest than my friend here. So, I want to just find out from you how did you get into astrology?
Ooh, yeah. I began my astrology journey because it is a journey. It's once you start, it's like never-ending learning. So I would say around 14 or 15 years old. And actually, I have it on my Instagram pinned as one of my posts. But if you haven't seen it or haven't gone on my site, then I'll just tell you here that actually one of my best friends to this day, over 10 years later, Aquarius Sun, Sag Moon guided me to it. So of course, evolutionary thinker, I'm Aquarius Mercury, right? She was the one like, have you considered this? Have you looked into it? I was like, no. So I always have an Aquarius friend taking you up to evolutionary places. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and I never stopped.
Well, I'm so glad you haven't, and I think it's great, for the collective. And you guys, in the description, you could find Valeria's social media. I believe I have her YouTube, her website, email, Instagram, all that good stuff, and she will announce it for you guys before we end the show. So, hello to everybody in the chat. We will get to you guys. Hope everybody's doing well this evening on a Friday, the Venus Day. So I was figuring we should jump in and let me set the stage for the astro weather, right? Right now, what is happening here? Okay. Something happened with the...
Oh, Hey Jenny, I see Jenny's here. Naomi from
Screen.
California.
Oh, okay.
Oh
So
my
we have
gosh.
we have a Scorpio ascendant right now. We have the moon in Virgo, right? And tonight, late tonight, this Virgo moon will be opposing Pisces and Saturn retrograde. And we had a sun moon sextile today. So starting with Venus, um, I want you to explain how you see I mean, we know the basics, right? Love language, pleasure, beauty, money, relationships. What other interesting tidbits do you sort of equate with this amazing planet, Venus?
Well, exactly what you said. And I would even go deeper into the esoteric ideas of it, where Venus is a sphere of consciousness, and there is actually a realm or plane of consciousness that is completely Venusian. And or some esoteric teachers also say and contemplate the teaching that the next level of consciousness that earth is ascending to, which is also called fourth density, is related to Venus consciousness, right, which is expanded and opened up through the heart chakra through connection and relationships. So, and then, I do see in the comments divine feminine, beautiful qualities of care, relating to others through simply loving, joy, games, um, and the list goes on. But also aesthetics and beauty. I have to put that out there. Aesthetics and beauty. Beauty
Yep.
for just the sake of beauty, because it
Right.
is just simply beautiful. Yes.
You're right. It's arts and culture, entertainment. It's actually semen. It's the seed of life.
Mm.
And it is also our like our throat chakra, right? Food. I think of chocolate and sweet tooths. I have Venus in the first house, so all you guys out there who have it, you may know Venus and the ascendant folks. We can have a little bit of a sweet tooth, so you got to watch that. It's and vehicles, right? So yes, I think that that's a great way to sort of lay the table. Let's start with let's just do it in order. I was thinking we could do the elements, but let's just do it in order. And you guys, you can chime in with questions. We're going to start with Venus and Aries. Um, for you, Venus and Aries, right? We know Venus is at home in Taurus and Libra, exalted in Pisces. So, it's
Yes.
debilitated in Aries, not a death sentence, as I always tell you guys in the birth chart. Debilitations and squares and oppositions, these opportunities for growth. And this is the energy that helps move the flow of the chart. So, what are some original, like unique thoughts when you first think of Venus and Aries and their love style, Valeria?
So Aries is known as the warrior, right? Anyone with a lot of Aries or Mars in their chart, you've been through some things, you've had to fight some battles. So with it in the Venus sign, right? Like traditionally it is considered debilitated. So right, that can be so um saddening to some of us when we hear that, like, oh no, so I don't have a good Venus sign. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily it. It's just a
Yeah,
different set of karma that you chose because you chose your chart in your higher self and or soul perspective, right?
yeah,
And from that perspective and vantage point, you chose for love to an extent to be some kind of challenge or quest to develop your sense of self or identity through that. So it's weird because on the shadow side of it, Aries Venus can be seen as selfish or self-centered, and in a way that's kind of part of the karma is they kind of need to, because it's this quest of hyper independence while it's in relationship that is like the ultimate balance, the ultimate Venus lesson of like, how can I be hyper independent, how can I be on my quest of whatever it is, whatever job or career, because Venus can be job and career too sometimes, what you're pursuing for money. And so it's like, how can I be this person that gets exactly what I want and I'm doing exactly how I want to do things and I'm a complete individual, but I'm still in relationship. That is the caveat, and that's the debilitation aspect of it, but also one of the biggest like beauties of the challenge. And then finding that partner that really sees that uniqueness, that warrior like spirit of getting what you want, money, relationship wise, business partnership wise, and honoring and giving that person the space to be kind of the leader in the relationship almost at times. Yeah.
No, you said it perfectly, and it's so true. And I've seen Venus and Aries energy sometimes play out, and one thing that I find so fascinating, you're right, there's this independent spirit, right? It's the pioneer maverick, sort of the child genius. But boy, when they initiate and assert, whether it's in a relationship or pursuing sex or the bag or money, career, Venus, Aries, like they don't play. That cardinal fire, that spark, they're like charging head first, right? And they dive right in. And I think they will see the mess that they made later, but they're still not necessarily going to apologize for it. I think what I love about Venus Aries is that they're so pure, right? The Aries archetype is so pure. They mean no harm or ill intentions to anyone. Any Venus and Aries in the chat, let us know, but they really don't. But there is this singular I am focus to accomplish the mission or task. Now, it's not like Capricorn, Cardinal Earth, where they're going to finish the mission. Aries is more like they're going to start it, and they may start multiple things at once, or start and then like stop and go start something else. They're like, oh, look at that over there. And that could be in the lens of a relationship or for work or whatever, So, but it's really pure. So who would you, I mean, obviously we can think of like the airs and the fires for Venus Aries, like in a love relationship. But who else would you feel Venus and Aries can relate with or play with or love with?
So actually in the chat, Amy Dawson, and I just want to also shout out Irene. We see you, Irene.
Hey, Irene. Hey, Amy.
Yeah, said, I'm Venus Aries. My ex is Venus Pisces. Could this work? So I didn't know if you wanted to answer that now or you wanted
to let's do that. Let's chime in like that. We'll both take a stab at it. Yes, you guys, Venus Aries, Venus Pisces can work. I think, you would want to get a relationship or a synastry compatibility chart, because I believe any two signs, any two placements, just to look at it by itself like that does you and the partner a disservice. But one thing that you can think of is that the fire in the water, you would think the water just puts the fire out. But at the same time, there's this kind of seeing each other for unique and special different attributes that can be extremely attractive and appealing. I'm not saying that it's going to be the easiest connection. We'd have to see the moon, the seventh house, the Jupiter, the Juno, all this, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, I think it could. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. And I think it's because both Venus signs also are so passionate. But I think the karma, what's really interesting is the karma
Alpha
is
and the
so
Omega.
Different. Yeah, it's very different, where Venus and Pisces will become so emotionally engulfed, and Venus and Aries may actually be trying to still like create a sense of self while it's in relationship. And those are just very different lessons to learn. So I could see, Amy did mention this is her ex. So I think, that's something to consider as to why maybe, we don't know all the details, but maybe that's part of, the separation, and maybe that will help you process the separation easier, is knowing that the karma is a lot different. And though it can be very fun and passionate, because like Eric was saying, the water doesn't necessarily burn out the fire. It can really be this like hurricane while the sea is on fire. Like we were like, how is this possible? But it's possible.
So, the ocean is burning.
Yeah, the ocean is burning right now. How is this? It's just happening though, and that can be the most beautiful thing, and that can also be the most chaotic thing. But creation can come out of chaos, and whatever was created from that, hopefully you're healing and alchemizing. And it's so great, Amy, that you're tuning in right now to get this message.
So if you are a Venus and Aries person, this means your sun sign is either Aries, Pisces, or Aquarius, or Taurus, Gemini. So I do like Venus Aries also, Valeria, with Venus Aquarius, like the child genius with the sage old genius. And in Venus Gemini, both people kind of like busy on the go with, a different lens in terms of dispensing their love, but both like, movement and pursuing and really a lot of fun. Venus Aries with
Yeah.
Venus Gemini. So
I do like that. Honestly, we actually were on the phone the other day, and I was mentioning this to him, and maybe if anyone in the chat has experienced this, any of these relationships too, definitely put your experience in the chat so we can know and have a testimonial for these different pairings. But I actually would said Venus in Aries and Venus in Scorpio, and I know that's very weird to some of us, but I think it's just the ultimate passion that really I like about that. And again, fire and water can be a little crazy, but I just think that's sometimes what both those signs can like crave. Not necessarily. I would have to hopefully be some earth in there or some kind of like high air logic element to either or both charts, just to ground it and to keep it out of being too emotionally chaotic and
right.
actually being able to have communication. But I do like that pairing as well.
Okay. Well, truth be told, one thing we forgot. So with your crystals and gems, you guys, and the jewelry, that also represents Venus, just so you know. But for both of us, Valeria and I are both fixed Venus placements. She's Venus Leo, and I'm Venus Scorpio. Okay. So just, for you guys in the chat to know and stuff in terms of our own Venus energy. So Venus and Taurus, I mean, it's at home here. It's like, so like in its own physical body here, it is very sensual and spiritual. People underestimate the spirituality of Taurus. It is very grounded in nature. Venus and Taurus can be a beautiful chef, massage therapist, an herbalist, a banker, a musician. A lot of Venus Taurus energy, the fixed earth sign is really in the five senses, and it's extremely about touching and smelling, and the fabrics, the lingerie, the bed sheets, the linens and things, all that type of stuff, and appreciation for art, culture, music, maybe even collecting things. When you think about Venus and Taurus, what type of matches do you think really can be smooth for this like grounded home energy? Because this is Netflix and chill on steroids, right?
Yeah, and also something I know about Venus and Taurus, like they really will take their time with a potential partner because they are so keyed into their money and resources that they look at partnerships as a potential investment in that as well.
Yes.
So yes, I would say Venus in Cancer is very safe bet. That would be a very cozy, very homey connection. Also, Venus and Taurus, I could even see the Taurus Scorpio axis again, or even a Venus in Libra. But I really do like, again, that Venus in Cancer, Venus Taurus. I just think that would just be so sweet, like absolutely sweet, absolutely amazing, to build a family together and things of that nature. Very, like, simplicity is key here and sometimes with both those signs, they can be both concerned with resources, material, and instinctual things.
And the home life, right? That is going to be the coziest, most comfortable home ever.
Yes, the home will be like fruits everywhere, blankets everywhere. Everyone can lay anywhere and be so comfortable.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think there's an attraction for Venus Scorpios to simplicity and purity. And I think Venus and Taurus is very classy. And there is this like pure, like earth goddess or earth god in them. You know what I mean? So I think that is. Now, when you said Venus Taurus with Venus Libra, I know there's the Venus connection, but it's very, air, earth.
I would say good for dating. It would be hard to say for like long term, but like I think that would be like both of them value the courtship of the process, like the more of like, if both tend to be more traditional, there would be a nice courting process between the two signs.
But it's like Venus and Taurus is like the smell of food is pleasurable for them, right? The smell of like lavender on the pillow, or like freshly washed and nicely dried, like, the fabrics and the shirt. Like, Taurus is so appreciative of their five senses. And it's something that can even, I think, maybe in some ways arouse them. It's very like, so I could imagine, and I don't even know if I've ever dated a Venus in Taurus, but I can imagine like that home walking in and you're like, ooh, what's that smell? It's nice in here. You know what I mean?
Yes. I have dated a Venus in Taurus,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, it's Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Venus, Taurus, Cancer, Mars. So yeah, very loyal, absolutely loyal, to the family unit.
Loyalty is key.
Not necessarily misers, but they really do hold on to their wealth. I will say that they do know how to hold on, and I think because of I have a Taurus Moon and he had a Taurus Venus, that conjunction was working for me, but that square between the Leo Venus and the Taurus Venus, I was not liking. I was not enjoying that personally. Okay. So even those squares can create a nice enough tension to make you curious, to create a lot of growth. So squares always have potential, even if they have the challenges as equal to the potential.
Wow, that was great. Hey, before we go to Venus and Gemini, because I know that's Bella's placement, but I would just say, did y'all notice how Valeria she just whipped out those placements of the ex-boyfriend or whatever, like super fast? So let me, I always like to share the gifts of whatever my guests are in terms of their chart. And, I did share your sun and ascendant and the Mercury all in Libra. And you have that Taurus and Jupiter and Saturn in the 8th house. But I think that to me, it's like the nurturing and like the grounded, practical wisdom of the occult knowledge that just like pours out of you. And that was just a quick example of that, like how you just like, boom, did that. You know what I mean? And I love that. Along with Valeria has the Neptune and Uranus, right, in Aquarius in our 5th house. And this, you guys, really speaks to like this kind of spiritual scientist, like this like mathematical tactician with the spirituality and innovation that also connects to past life gifts. So Valeria has been evolved in the esoteric knowledge and herbs and plant medicine for, more than just this lifetime. And I think that that's really magical. And, she kind of just shared that with us right now. You know what I mean? So let me ask you a question. Like, if you were breaking down and thinking of it in your own chart, what placement kind of describes your yoga teaching and like your body work stuff? Besides the obvious Taurus Moon in 8th house, besides that, give me something else.
Okay, well, that's a really great question. I think even sometimes I'm trying to figure it out, because I think something about astrology and having other astrologists around you is sometimes you're so deep in the embodiment of being your astrology, because even if you don't know your astrology, I always tell people you don't even need to know your chart. You just are your chart. Yeah. So yeah, you are your chart. You can't avoid it. You just are it. Which is beautiful, right? But when you're in the embodiment of it and going through all the karma and the lessons, especially because I am younger in this human body, in this current incarnation, I have not yet had my Saturn return, so that's a huge passage of maturity that I'm coming up to in the coming year.
Get ready, my friend.
Yeah, so obviously I do acknowledge that humbly, but I will say, sometimes I give my Sagittarius stellium that's in the 3rd house with Lilith, Pluto, Mars, and Chiron all next to each other, all of these difficult planets and positions in my 3rd house of the mind. I think it's just like my mind is so attracted to anything that takes me completely deep into the unseen worlds. And also because of the deep pain that I have felt mentally trying to understand with Sagittarius my whole life since I was a kid, like viewing, different abuses, different, just so much that from my childhood I could go into. But but just seeing everything I saw, I just needed to know as a very young child, why, like, what is life, what is God, what is this? And this was something that, and I've noticed a lot of awakened spiritual seekers and teachers and all of us that are on this path go through at certain points, some of us younger or older, but it's just like, what is this? So that was me around 8, 9 years old at latest. I mean, it was just kind of natural. And I also account my Aquarius South Node. Like you were mentioning a little, but I just feel comfortable in the mind. I feel comfortable in abstract thought. So it's interesting to rise into the Leo North Node, the opposite end, and be like, okay, now I have to be seen. Like, that's
But let me say
weird.
this though. Let me say this.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
go there too fast, right?
Yeah.
Because right now you're really still rocking in that Aquarius South Node energy, right? As the Saturn returns at 30, then it's like, oh, I see you, Leo North Node and Venus. Let me start walking to my 11th house, right? You don't want to rush there. So be patient and kind of like just, you see it,
Thank
you
you so
know it,
much.
and then ease into it. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much. This is one of the best astrologists around.
So let's get to Venus and Gemini. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The
I'm currently
mutable.
dating a Venus and Gemini too.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so hold on. I'll just say my little spiel, and then you give us the
Yes.
expert insight on that, and then we'll see what Bella says about it. She's Venus and Gemini, but Venus and Gemini, the masculine mutable air sign. Venus and Gemini sometimes gets mistaken for being like very flirty. And it's not necessarily that, male or female, they're just chatty Cathys, but they are definitely in the mix, in the know, in the seeking input and information, sharing it. Like they are super social, they're clever, they're curious, they're friendly, and they're like, I think of what's it, Mr. Lover, bombastic, but you know what I mean? Like they're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's climb a mountain. Let's go, to this club, but then let's go to the after party. Let's do this, and or they could be like, let's watch 5 movies tonight. Like they're very much down for the cause, and I just think it's a fun energy, and in a relationship. I mean, obviously, air, fire. I could see them with. Um, I could see them honestly with the. I'm trying to think of something separate from air or fire.
I know Venus and Gemini, Venus Libra is nice, actually.
Yeah, no. That's an easy. That's the trine.
All
That's
the
like,
airs are so nice.
yeah, no. Venus, Gemini, Venus, Aquarius. But and Venus, Aries, and Sag and Leo. But I could see them with either a Venus, Scorpio, or I could see them with a Venus. I don't know if I would see them with Venus, Pisces.
I don't know, just because it's just such a mutable sign. But like honestly, Venus and Pisces, I think it would be more friendship, if anything, just because both are able to change so fast. But I think it's just the heavy emotions of the Venus and Pisces. The Venus and Gemini might be overwhelmed and need a mental understanding, where the Venus and Pisces sometimes can't give that mental understanding while they're in the midst of all the feelings.
I agree. I'll say Venus and Capricorn, a little work affair.
No.
Okay, so you tell me. You do tell. You're in a relationship. Venus Leo with Venus Gemini, which I said is really good. You're living it right now. Do tell.
It's interesting. Well, I will say this adds a very important flavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
His Venus and his Saturn are conjunct his Mercury. So that Saturnian aspect, that is just such it's a tight orb. It's almost an exact conjunction.
Oh, wow.
Makes it it's been very steady, because I have been in relationships with multiple Geminis or people with high Gemini energy, high Mercury energy. So anyone that knows that, especially Virgo sun, you understand Mercury does like change, and they are quick to get to different projects and things on their mind, and they can be very busy mentally, where it's just been actually very a lot more grounding than I expected it to be, especially because his Taurus sun. Um, so I really enjoyed it. I like the banter. I like the witty talk. I like the flirting is very fun. The friendship is there. I think Gemini, you can give Gemini Venus, and I would say Gemini Aquarius similarly. You can give them the flowers for how
They're
you
great
really have a
friends.
friend in them. You ever
Yeah,
really have a
Venus
friend
Aquarius
in
and
them.
Venus Gemini are great friends. You're 100% right. Yeah.
Yes, like it's even no matter what you go through them is with them. It's like I have a friend in you. I truly do, and I feel that with Venus and Gemini.
Well,
Hmm.
that's nice. I'm happy for you with that. I think that that's and I will tell you, I mean, almost 15 years in marriage, friendship is muy importante, right? You have to have. So let me, before we go to Venus and Cancer, well, maybe I'll just save it when we get to your placement. We'll go there. But um, Venus and Gemini, though, I think they. Okay, I'm gonna just be honest, and I don't want Geminis to get mad at me, but Gemini, I don't think Venus and Gemini is this way, but Gemini energy, the sun sign, they sometimes can be, I guess, duplicitous. I mean, there can be some affairs and cheating. Either with Gemini men and women. Venus
Oh
and
my
Gemini, though, I
gosh.
don't sense that they're like that. They may flirt, but they're not like dipping out like that. And you would have to see like what their sun sign is and different things like that, you know?
I mean,
But
communication is key. I think I mean, if a Venus and Gemini is polyamorous or requires multiple partners, I think, maybe that's part of their journey because it is so mutable in air that, like, hey, you might flip and change one day. You're the twins. Like, you might change what you want, but it's at least communicate with your partner or whoever you're having an affair with. Communicate for communication's sake, like, simply. It just helps everything be more harmonious because Venus is harmony. So if you want to evolve through your Venus, you have to prioritize harmony in that specific sign. That is the texture, the layer, the flavor, the way that you do things through that planet that is going to help you receive the gifts of then the Venus, because Venus is also gifts. So if you're doing your Venus work properly, you should be able to receive even better relationships, better rewards, better opportunities if you're working correctly with it as well. And part of that is communicating until wait, actually you have more to say. Keep saying more of what's on your mind, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. If you change your mind about something, just say it, because you're going to save yourself a lot of grief. And if somebody can't handle how fast you change, Venus and Gemini, well, that's the other person's problem. Like, you have things you want to do. You have mindsets to change. You have places to explore with your own mind and through your own perception. So that's just kind of part of the journey.
yeah, no, and two funny things. So Venus and Gemini, I don't necessarily know, and like I said, I don't know if I'm sure I've dated one, but I don't know. But I could see them giving great massages, and Venus and Gemini, it's almost like I can visualize them like in a really cool conversation. They're just talking and talking, and then it's just like in between, like they're talking, like all of a sudden, like the two people just like kiss. You know what I mean? Like, because like it's the mental stimulation, and that can happen for the Venus Gemini and the Venus Aquarius, where because they're so mentally stimulated and I guess in some ways aroused mentally, that's where it can lead to the friendship and then even more in a relationship or passion. You know what I mean? So I think that that's kind of really cool
Absolutely.
for that
Absolutely.
energy.
I love that visual of like two lovers, right? Like, oh my gosh, like good, and then it's just like that nice like peck or like whatever. Like, it's still like Venus and Gemini know how matter how serious or deep the relationship is. I feel like they can always still keep it light.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
No, it is. So let's go to nostalgia lane. Venus and Cancer. Any Venus and Cancers in the chizzy in the chat? Um,
We
you
got
know.
Naomi Gemini with Venus and Gemini.
Oh, hey,
Jenny said
no,
I would love.
Naomi. Welcome.
Yeah,
So, Naomi,
welcome,
you're
Jenny.
Venus and Gemini. Do you have a favorite Venus like placement or any experience with any Venuses relationships wise that you are
Yeah.
aware of or that you are attracted to?
Yes, we'd love to hear. Jenny said,
Yeah.
I would love your take on Venus Leo and Venus Scorpio. We're about to get there after Venus in Cancer.
Yep.
Bella said, friendship is key. My Venus in Gemini in 6th house is loyal to a fault. I will break up real fast though if it's not for me.
That's good. Yeah. No. And sometimes, yes, I could see, especially in the sixth house, I could see um, one, Venus in Gemini sixth house. It's all about service. You know what I mean? Being of service, and that could be in a relationship, but it also could be like at work or coworkers, boss, like for the collective. Even like really Venus and Gemini sixth house. I mean, you could, you'd have to see the whole chart, but they could be like a great veterinarian or just like really love animals. You know what I mean? But someone that
Beautiful.
like they communicate a lot in their daily life. That's
Yeah.
that's really
Beats by Blessed Zone Out Music said, my Venus is in Cancer.
okay. Well, we're leading right into you. Venus in Cancer, the feminine cardinal water sign. Venus in Cancer is really sweet. It's serene. It's very nurturing and caring. This is divine mother energy. And even if it's a man, it's like the divine, very caring, providing, protecting father, too. This is like very much to me the music teacher, the art teacher, the school teacher, the really good realtor, Venus in Cancer, investment banker, someone that does the health insurance. But I think romantically, Venus in Cancer, I actually think this opposition is one that is not so great, Venus Capricorn. It's not terrible. And obviously, I think, like you were saying, that sweet spot with Venus Taurus and Venus Cancer, Valeria. I like Venus Cancer also with Venus Virgo. I think that there's this element of like reciprocal nurturing and caring, and they both can make each other feel really safe and secure. Right? Remember the crab? You guys move sideways. It's kind of cautious. It's like I got my eye on you because they're slow to trust. So, and what do you think about Venus Cancer?
Well, actually, my longest term relationship was with a Venus in Cancer. That was my most serious relationship, and
Wow.
it is like, yes, we were engaged, everything. Um, it was like family, right? It's basically like once we were committed, which the commitment was a huge thing. It can be a very formal sign in the process of courting. Um,
Yeah.
but I was like, welcome to my family, like you are the family. I would spend time with his grandmother, just me and her,
Oh wow.
and yeah, she was a very Christian woman, so talk about Jesus, whatever you want, I'm here for it. And we'd cook, we'd bake, and I would make meals for his whole family, make meals for us. So it was very nice. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Venus and Cancer is when they really take you in and they finally let you into that shell they've built around themselves to protect everything that they find sacred. um, you get to be their family, and
Yes.
there's a lot of gifts to that.
Yeah.
It
You're
is.
right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And but that's interesting though with the Venus and Leo, and we're going there next. But I guess I want to bring this up since you're mentioning you dating the Venus in Cancer.
Yeah.
Was it ever too slow for you? Was it like ever
He
too
was a Gemini. He
stubborn
was a
or?
Gemini. Yeah, he was a Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon with a
Oh,
Pisces
okay.
rising.
So it wasn't slow. Okay.
Drove me crazy.
Okay. Because that
Yeah.
could play out very differently with other sun sign placements. You know what I mean? So that's why I was curious. Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
the air
interesting.
kept it moving. Yeah.
Okay. So who's got the Venus and Cancer in the chat? What do they have any relationship questions?
Beats by Blessed Zone said, "Oh, what is a good relationship for a Venus and Cancer man?"
Venus and Cancer man, I like the Venus Taurus and Venus Virgo lady. I also like this one's a little odd, but Venus Aquarius woman or Venus Sag. And I'll say this because there's this with the Venus Sag, I think it's based around humor. and wanting to appreciate whether it's the ocean or nature or being outdoors and like adventures, but like family fun. And then with the Aquarius, I think that there's a lot of times in the chart, and this is just going to, random astrology knowledge, but the Aquarius moon in different houses, you guys, can behave like a Cancer moon. People don't understand that Aquarius is actually a very sensitive sign, even though it's fixed air sign and they can be stubborn and arrogant, but they are, like the crab, very cautious of one-on-one intimacy. So when the Venus Cancer and Venus Aquarius can come together, there can be this like emotional breeze of like strong air and water that like can let each one know like, hey, you can show me your belly, you can show me your heart, and I won't hurt it. So that's just a little knuckleball besides the obvious, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Two Venus and Cancers, that could be a little heavy.
Yeah, it could be a little heavy. I mean, honestly, sometimes it's better to date outside of the common element within the Venuses.
Yeah,
Truly, it really is, because it can really, no matter the combination, go either way. But I
yeah,
have seen some deep psycho emotional uh, work and healing necessary in like a Venus and Cancer, Venus and Scorpio dynamic, even though it seems harmonious. Or even like a Pisces Cancer, right? Even though it seems harmonious,
yeah,
it's just the water is so deep, and in the Venus sign, it's so receptive that sometimes it
yeah,
is better to have like an air or fire that seems so contrastive, but it creates some kind of yin yang effect between the two. So I like that you mentioned the Venus and Sag and the Venus in Aquarius for Venus and Cancer. I think especially, Venus and Cancer man. Um, I think, I would suspect or assume possibly that, you are a little bit more reserved in relationships, like you're saying. So with the Venus and Sag, right? If you are a hetero man, I'm assuming a Venus and Sag woman, right? She will take the lead just from her own joy and sake of exploration, and then if you feel the interest and the passion, you can come along with her. She'll take you wherever she's going. Because
oh,
she
and
knows where
Venus
to
Sag ladies,
relax.
they're going. They're going.
Yes, they're,
Oh
they're
my God.
going.
That's
So
you said that perfectly. It makes me smile because that's one thing that happens with me, I guess. And, maybe this is something that other people experience, but like how I gave you the analogy with the Venus and Gemini or Venus Aquarius, I always see the movie, I see the visuals, and that's why like Venus Sag, I can see, the adventure. But remember, people don't understand. Sag, very jovial, optimistic, fortunate, but funny, blunt, storytellers. Cancer, comedians. Cancers are funny. And so that's where I
they're
think
so funny.
the humor connects, you know what I mean? And that's a whole hallmark for any successful relationship, is being able to laugh with one another. I think that's important. Okay, so now it's your turn. Venus Leo. Okay, I'll stab at it first. Um, this is the energy we're in, you guys. It's definitely hot girl summer energy with Mars being there. Venus goes retrograde on the first day of Leo, July 22nd, and it's conjunct true black moon Lilith. Okay. And by the way, I don't acknowledge your Lilith and Sag. I go with the true black moon Lilith with your Lilith and Scorpio, Valeria.
That's
And
true.
I like that for
That's true.
you more. And it really speaks from what I'm sensing and learning about you. I feel that you have this Black Moon Lilith Scorpio. That Scorpio Sun Moon energy, Sun Moon rising energy is your tribe of people. That you are very intuitive and instinctual about the occult knowledge and about energy, and it gives you a sixth sense. So I think you should start
Yes.
claiming your true Black Moon
I,
Lilith
I,
in
wa- I
Scorpio.
want to claim this. Everyone, for now on, you are the witness, you are the observer of this transition of the evolutionary perspective I have received from Eric. True Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, it so resonates. When I received a
It's so
reading from
you.
him, it was like, bam. So I honestly, I gotta apply it more. because
Yeah.
I resonate with both to an extent, but I
Uh-huh.
do I'm going to dive deeper into that energy and sit with it more for sure, and
Okay.
meditate with it because I'm
All
just
right.
like, wow, there's
That
so
that
much
makes
to
me
learn here.
that makes me
Yeah.
happy. I feel like my job
Yes.
is done. I've done
Yes.
something, and maybe we'll do another show together just about Lilith placements because that in itself is heavy, heavy, heavy,
Yeah. It's
heavy,
very
heavy.
heavy.
So, Venus Leo, um, dynamic, passionate, creative, generous, very much about the art, culture, anything entertaining, and truly the heart needs to be in it. And what I like about Venus Leos, they're like, I think about like Madonna, Michael Jackson, but just in general, they have a flair, a je ne sais quoi about them that is so like, whoa, look at them. You know what I mean? Like it's very bright. Now, I would ask you, do you like when you go out and you're like going out to hang out with your girlfriends or just whatever, are you more bright colors? Are you more jewelry? Like, how do you play with your Venus and Leo fashion style wise?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's such a Venus question. I love it. Um, so yeah, I guess when I went last time I went out dancing with my best friend, that is Leo Sun, right? Libra Venus, so beautiful, beautiful sextile there, beautiful person.
Yeah.
Um, but we went out and she convinced me, as the true Leo best friend has to, is wear that one dress, the really bright red one. You're gonna look amazing. Wear it. And Libra, sometimes Libra rising, I do like to remain neutral at times when I go
Right.
into places. Still fashionable, but sometimes remain a bit neutral. But, I had that empowerment, and Leo Venus thrives on empowerment, affirmation, and encouragement. We just thrive on that kind of attention
Yes.
because we love to give it too, and just like right in your face. So I wore that red dress, and I remember, we literally danced on the stage all night because
And
we
I
danced
see
on the
that
stage
visual Venus Leo on the stage.
in the bright red. There's 100 people out on the floor, and there's 10, 15 girls. Only ladies were allowed on the stage. Ladies' night on the stage, and we were two of them. And I remember we went to go get some water, and we convinced these guys, like, please get us water. We really are so thirsty. We can't get ahead in line. They're like, okay, no problem, no problem. So bending to our will, Leo Venus things that we love, and so then I
I
remember this
appreciate the
guy.
honesty.
So then essentially one of the guys goes, by the way, why are you two dressed like that for this? Because it was a country bar in the middle of like nowhere.
Oh my
And
God. Oh wait, you left the
he's
best
like,
part of the story out. A country
he's like,
bar. Oh my God, that's
yes.
hilarious.
Yeah, so that I think that's a beautiful Leo Venus, right? Leo Venus, Leo Sun conjunction partnership, right? But like moment and story is like when you shine bright, everyone's got your eye on you, and you're really just being yourself, though, because that's the key. Is like really just be yourself, because your style most likely as a Leo and Venus will be brighter or some kind of thing that makes you look like an individual or stand out. And I think
Yes.
that could be uncomfortable if you have like Virgo placements or more conservative placements in the chart.
Yes.
But if you are willing to lean into that, especially with the encouragement of surrounding yourself with more people with Leo energy to like bring that out of you, it is so rewarding, because you feel that nourishment from the positive attention from you just authentically being yourself, not doing things for attention. That's the shadow
Right. Right. Right.
side, right? Is simply doing it for attention rather than you just being yourself, and then you naturally receive it, because again, Venus is natural reception,
Oh
organic
yeah.
reception.
And Venus Leo, we'll get into the lens of relationship, but Venus Leo, there is like the Venus Gemini, there is this like little socialite energy, but also being entertained. And then when they feel warm and comfortable, allowing their like, heart to pour into entertaining others. And I think you said the key word there, individual. And this is where Venus and Leo can do well with Venus and Aquarius, because it's really a good opposition with Venus individualism. You know what I mean? Being played out at its highest form. I like Venus Leo with Venus Gemini, obviously with Libra and Aquarius. With
Yeah,
Aries,
Jenny. Oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah.
Jenny's saying, talk about Venus Leo and Venus Scorpio relationship, please.
Okay. Um, I'll say this, right? I'm a Venus Scorpio, and I think the energy of the Venus Leo, and I'm sure somewhere down the line I dated one, but Venus Leo, they're both fixed, right? And you're dealing with fire and water. But I think where they really connect is in passion or intensity. You know what I mean? And so, with what Valeria was saying about how Venus is receptive energy, in Scorpio, it's all about the deep soul merging, right? And Venus Leo, I just think it can be a nice match. You know what I mean? I think it can be really beautiful. But I do think that there has to be the one thing about Venus Scorpio, they may not like the Venus and Leo kind of, if it's in its like flirty, give me attention mode, Venus and Scorpio won't like that. You know what I mean? Venus and
Yeah, I
Scorpio,
hear that.
they won't like that, but they'll like the creative, fun, playful side. And see, what people have to understand, when Leo energy is on its highest vibration, it wants to share the spotlight, and it's extremely generous. Venus and Leos, they will literally want to dress their partner, right? They'll buy their girlfriend a beautiful sundress or a piece of jewelry, or they'll buy their boyfriend a nice suit or tie. Venus and Leo can be very like, do you agree with that? Like, have you ever played that out or
Yeah,
felt
so
that?
it's the concept of, and for as a Venus and Leo, it's this concept of you're representing me.
Yes.
You're representing me. When I go out into the public eye, which is important to Venus Leo on a subconscious level, because if it's part of your chart, then it's, and you're not aware of it, it's still subconscious. And so on a subconscious level, when you go out into the public world, whether online or in person, there is some kind of recognition that is being wanted, craved, or accidentally attracted. And with that knowing or that unknowing, still there is a desire for the partner to live up and or show up to represent that Venus and Leo in the way, in the light that they are craving when they go out. And I think for Venus and Scorpio, especially with the transits going on, it can be difficult right now to show up, especially if they're in the midst of transformation. I think that's what sometimes Venus and Leo, because Venus and Leo can get, and Leo places in general, can get very stuck in like, I want the light, I want the happiness. Like, why isn't this fun right now? Like, why aren't we playing right now? Why aren't we laughing like we did? And that square, well, if the Venus and Scorpio is transforming right now and they're shedding and they're going through layers, you can't expect that from them. And that's
Right,
where
because they
Venus
want
and
to go
Leo,
more
yes,
within. They want to be more introspective. Yeah.
they want to keep going deeper, and the Venus and Leo will be like, well, we're like, well, like, what happened to, and it's like, well, it's not gone. The love is not gone. The love is there. And if the Venus and Scorpio is actually willing to show you their true emotions, trust me, the love is there, because they don't show a lot of people their true emotions in the first place. So Venus and Leo just has to really come into terms with that. Oh, they're loving
Don't
me.
tell our secrets.
Yeah. Oh, they're loving me right now by being so raw with me and authentic, and me showing them this kind of more darker or deeper side of me. It's actually, how the Venus and Leo can see that, because they will rise from this. And then Jenny's just going, yes.
And honestly, Jenny,
Yeah.
just so you know, because we're going to go to Venus and Virgo, but real quick, Venus and Scorpio wants to sense that they can trust the Venus and Leo with their heart. And so they need to see a level of maturity from the Venus and Leo. So if they see the maturity from the Venus and Leo, then the Venus and Scorpio is like, okay, now I can put my heart in my hand and let you hold it and see what you're going to do with it. But you know what I mean? There has to be like this comfort of trust. Venus and Scorpio needs that. You know what I mean? So let's go to Venus and Virgo, right? So Venus
Yes,
in
we gotta.
Virgo, it's debilitated, or sorry, it's in its fall there. It's also in Pisces. Venus in Virgo, practical, logical. They can overthink the relationship. There's a lot of overcritical of self worth issues sometimes, and then very critical of partners and desiring perfection in love and relationships. The wheelhouse and the comfort zone for Venus and Virgo, you guys, is to be of service to your partner because they can, and we spoke about this, and I'll let you get more into it, but they can be very attentive in love and just notice the smaller things in life, which can be really appreciated and beautiful. So I think Venus and Virgos, for me, I like them with Taurus. I like them with Scorpio. I definitely like them with Pisces. Not as much with Capricorn. And an off-putting one or a one you wouldn't expect, Venus and Virgo, I could see them with uh, maybe Venus Aquarius because it would be very mental connection.
I love that. Yeah, I agree with all of those. Venus and Virgo is very sweet. They will take care of whoever they are loving, and that I think that is something you can rely on them for, especially with that Earth element. Um, I've actually also, I think I've dated like almost every Venus sign,
I was gonna
and
say,
then one of my, yeah, it's something I've been contemplating throughout this time. I'm like, dang, I've had dated every single, but I know with Virgo Venus, it's something that we really, me and Eric have come to, and I think that everyone will agree with their own experiences. And if you have a Venus in Virgo, is that it's easier said than done to receive love for them, but I promise you, Venus in Virgo, you will be able to give all of that love and that service and that energy that you want to give if you just take one deep breath and receive just a tiny little bit more. Just a
yeah,
little bit,
yeah,
even though it's difficult for you, even though it feels like you're not worthy, or you start getting critical, or you feel like you have so much to do. I promise, because it is an earth sign, that
yeah,
if you focus on the health in the body and the care of the body and the health, and
yeah.
you receive any, like receiving massages, receiving acupuncture, receiving um, herbs and medicinal things, eating really healthy, things like that, the practical things are the best way to love a Venus and Virgo. Actually, like meal prepping them a really healthy meal, or giving them a really healthy dinner, or like getting them amazing vitamins. Like, they will appreciate those little things because oftentimes they are lacking that self care because they're so busy out there serving. So
That,
that's
that's
something
perfect.
to really
Yeah,
note.
no, that's perfect. So let's keep it moving, unless there's any Venus and Virgos in the chat.
No, I don't see any right now.
So Venus Libra. Oh man, we're at home, home sweet home. Um, Very different from the Venus in Taurus. This is more focused outwardly in air and communications and partnerships and relationships. Venus in Libra, the masculine cardinal air sign, is definitely about the friends, the event planning. There is this need for mental stimulation and connection. They're great listeners, but at the same time, it, they can be indecisive. And I hate to say the stereotype of the Libra energy of being passive aggressive, but it can be. You know what I mean? And so I think for Venus and Libra, they've got to go within, right, which is a little bit more challenging sometimes for air and fire, and first get the healthy self love, so then that way they're attracting better partners for relationships and potentially marriage. But they're very sensual, love everything aesthetically beautiful, and there is a sweet kindness to them. You know what I mean? And yeah, I like Venus Libra energy.
Yeah, Venus and Libra, and something about Venus and Libras too. Um, is that harmony is an ultimate priority. It's an integral part of their personality, and something that I tell Venus and Libras, and that's extremely important about this placement is, do not avoid certain conversations for the sake of maintaining a false sense of harmony.
Yes.
Yes.
That is so key. And remember with Libras, you guys, the scales, it's seeking balance. It's not balance. It's seeking it. So you're right. Sometimes they have to be willing to get uncomfortable, and there's great growth and blessings through confrontation, and that could be a challenge for them in relationships. You know, I like the Venus Gemini and Venus Aquarius. I don't love the opposition here either. I think they could do really well with Venus Sag and with Venus Leo, over the Venus Aries. And then if I had to give like something like unique, um, Pisces, because of the exaltation.
That'd be very sweet.
I'd be really, really pure. And I think the Libra can really figure out. I think they both can come to a really peaceful, compassionate place. It would just be like this. They're almost like the couple that you're just like, oh my God, like, can you guys stop? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like a lot of public displays of PDA, public displays of affection.
Yes.
It's a lot of like, oh no, you go first, honey. Oh no, you go first, love. Oh, you go first. It's like, oh my God, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, but it is pure. It is sweet. So I definitely would say that.
Yes, I totally agree. I agree with all of that. I do not like the opposition either here with the Libra Aries and Libra Venus. It's just means that the Aries Venus Aries are the Libra. We're talking so much astrology. Sometimes it's like everything is happening at once in my mind and then my mouth. Okay, so the Libra Venus Aries combination is just. It's just not compatible. It's just really not. It would not feel good to either people. And Venus is all about feeling good. And just because of the assertion of the Venus Aries and then the more passive and, harmony seeking Libra, it would be very much, it would be very clashing.
Yeah.
But that is just not to say we don't believe in miracles here. Because we have seen.
I've seen every couple work. Exactly. You do enough synastry charts. You're right, and definitely. So we're not poo-pooing it at all. It can be a very different way of viewing a relationship. That's all.
Yes.
So, but anything can be worked out. So we'll go to Venus and Scorpio, right? Me. They tell you it's debilitated here. Venus and Scorpio, feminine. Fixed water sign. It can do really well with Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. I could see it with Gemini, definitely Pisces. I can see it, with Aquarius. I think the thing about Venus and Scorpio, you guys, is that like a Venus in Cancer, there has to be this level of trust, because for Venus and Scorpios, we are not just willing to make that commitment unless we know that like you're here like for like a blood oath. You're here forever.
Literally.
You're here forever because I will say this, it's like Leo DiCaprio, Denzel Washington, Drake, me, Taraji P. Henson, Neil Long, Jay-Z. It is definitely something that there is the way Venus and Scorpio learns another human is through soul merging. So I will always tell you, I feel, and you let me know, I think Gemini and Leo are more sexual than Scorpio. But Scorpio is about the deep intimacy and trust. So there is that soul merging, and that's how they learn someone. So Venus and Scorpio is naturally very magnetic, and they are very sexual because that's how they understand. Like they have to they want to see through your soul. You know what I mean? It's a very deep love and it's intense. So it's not for everybody. Proceed with caution, but it's a very loyal love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, proceed with caution, for you will transform.
Yes.
You will not be the same after this, nor will the Venus and Scorpio be the same after certain relationships. And I think that's that's the thing about, this Pluto, Pluto Mars ruled sign in the Venus. It's, and especially with Venus being so harmony seeking, passive, receptive, is that relinquishing control is a huge theme for Venus and Scorpio, as well as in relationship. Stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to control your emotions. If something is bringing up a trigger, be honest about it with yourself and the other. So then you can really seek harmony. Because I think that's the hard thing about Venus and Scorpios is they are so sensitive. And because they are on that path of karma of transforming their triggers into, this basically they are alchemists in love, and they are turning all the triggers and the pain into deep wisdom and healing so they can heal their partner and themselves through the relationship. It's really important for the Venus and Scorpio to really say, when you did this, even though it's odd or weird, it made me feel this way. And for Venus and Scorpio, that is very difficult. That's like the most hardest thing to say, So
Yeah.
I think that's something to know.
Definitely. And I'll say this, and then we'll see if there's any questions or comments on the Venus and Scorpio energy, because I know it's pretty popular. There is that one thing I will say, like they will engulf you, devour you. You know what I mean? There's this. It is. There is a power control dynamic, but if you're going to get with the Venus and Scorpio, you need to make sure they're on a high vibration, and that they have gone through some stuff to actually transform themselves to find self-love. Because Venus Scorpio, where it is debilitated, because it can be, I've never experienced this myself, but it can be where they can be extremely rageful or jealous, and so and not trusting. So you have to make sure that they themselves have done some sort of introspection work. Okay, that's important. It really is. So any questions or comments about?
Bella said one of my good friends is Venus in Libra, and he's super indecisive, and even when he decides on something, he'll still second guess it.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's classic air.
yeah.
Jenny said about her Venus in Scorpio, he trusted me right away. He kept pressuring my trust. Libra, yes, and then a person named said they Scorpio Venus, they are all or nothing.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay. Yeah. No. And it's it's deep. But it's so funny. I will tell you, they love occult knowledge. They find pleasure in the mysteries and the secrets of life. You know what I mean?
Especially your secrets.
Huh?
Especially your secrets.
Oh yeah.
What are you hiding under there? So
yeah,
they'll figure it out. Venus and Scorpio will figure it out.
Oh, you wait. I'll tell you right now. You cannot hide from a Venus and Scorpio. They will figure it out, and they'll see. And a lot of times, depending on, like, if they're on a high vibration, they can see right through you. They really can. Believe me. So let's go to Venus and Sag. Let's make it more light. So Venus and Sag, right? Masculine, mutable fire sign. Venus and Sag. Oh my God! The fortune, the luck, the optimism, the beliefs, philosophy, wisdom, the exploration. They will love animals. They love hiking and nature. They are like the ones that are planning the vacation and the trip. This is the one I would say they would prefer the Gemini, the Libra, and Aquarius, and the Leo. Venus and Sag sometimes may not have the patience for Venus and Aries, but it just depends if the Aries has got some like Earth and different air in their chart or whatever. And I think Venus and Sag, this is interesting, but I see that they can work with Venus and Taurus, because there's this nature and beliefs and values, but also like they both, are connected to finance and money. So Venus Sag or Venus Taurus is my one that like people may sleep on, that I could see them working together. So
yes, yeah, I agree with all of that. That is, I've never heard. I think I have seen it, the Venus and Taurus and Venus Sag, but I can't remember. But I understand where you're coming from. I would even say, like, Venus and Sag, they like to explore. So, even if a long-term commitment isn't there they might even end up dating every single sign.
Oh yeah, this is the
Just
Bachelor
be,
Bachelorette sign. Yeah, Venus Sag is totally
yes.
like, I need my freedom. Yep.
Yeah. It's Jupiter, right? It wants to expand and see what there is and indulge in all of the love and the pleasures, and sometimes that means multiple people. Um,
It
so
does.
I mean, I think that I think that's unique to them, and they really do have a very huge capacity to love because their love is so like, I'm here. What do you want to do? But yes, they can be quick out of the picture because they are fire and they really are on to the next. They don't really like to be held down in a way where their freedom is suppressed in any way. So that's
Yep.
something to always remember is honor their freedom because you can't take it from them and you cannot control them. And the moment they feel slightly controlled
They're gone.
they're gone. They've disappeared. Where'd they go? Oh, they're in Arkansas. Why are they there? I don't know. Like
They're off with a Venus and Libra somewhere.
they're opposite Venus and Libra in Croatia. What? Yeah, I don't know why. I thought what? Like, yeah, no, they're there.
Yeah,
Um,
and they are very expansive and good times. They want to have fun.
Very good. And these people, they have been through a lot. I've heard some very deep, deep stories about Venus and Sag, where
Yeah,
yes, they are prone to multiple lovers, but they will also go really deep into exploring things that are high emotional highs within the relationship because they're trying to see how far love can go, essentially. Because it
yeah,
is that Jupiter energy in Venus, so it's like how far can love go? It's almost like it almost combusts Venus sometimes because
yeah,
Venus is harmony and Jupiter wants to push all limits. So sometimes the Venus and Sag will either push themselves in a relationship by accepting terms or relationship that's unique or different to see if they have the capacity to hold it or that they think it's or figure out if it is for them, or they may push the partner's limits by saying, well, I want to explore this, I want to do this, I want to close the relationship, I want to open the relationship, whatever is considered pushing the limits. They may do that in relationships just to see and understand and explore the philosophy, the concept, right?
yeah,
Because this is a higher mind sign, so they want to understand, and they sometimes want to break the mold of traditional philosophies and ideas of what a relationship is, because they want to determine by themselves, by their own free will, this is what I've chosen it to mean. I've chosen my philosophy over relationships, and I've come to these terms through my own explorations. You know.
No, that's beautiful. You said it dope. And you know what? People don't realize they're actually really sensitive too. Very sensitive. Men and women. I've seen it. So, but it is a fun energy, and adventure and freedom is like the mantra. I'll tell you guys. Venus and Cap, before they're going to be married to you, they're going to be married to work. Let's just be honest. The mantra is work hard, and then play hard. The one thing, and I don't know if you've experienced this, that I found with Venus and Cap, there is this kind of like what I was saying with the Venus and Gemini, but it's different. Like Venus and Gemini, you're like talking so much, and then you can like reach in, and then you go for a kiss. Venus and Capricorn, they can be chatty Cappies, but they're hard to read because they can be very serious, and then very there's like a Saturn like distance or some sort of restriction. So you're not
Yeah.
sure. You're not sure about their love language or their love style. Like, should we,
Yeah.
go on a date? Should we go to a museum? Should we go to a lake? Should we go to a concert? When can I kiss? When can I hold their hand? Like, you know what I mean? They're hard to read. That's what I found with Venus and Capricorn. So relationship wise,
Yeah. Or they've been with their middle school sweetheart, not even high school, middle school sweetheart for 10
yeah,
years now. You know what I'm saying? So um, either they can be late bloomers and they'll
yeah,
take a while and they don't even have interest, or maybe they're already with somebody very committed, no matter how hard it's been, right? They're definitely like, no matter how hard it gets, like, I'm here. And it's like, it's really, it's fine. Like,
we're
they
gonna
really
make
are
this
in that.
work. Yeah.
We're gonna make this work, is what a Venus in Capricorn says. Venus in Capricorn would do well with a Venus in Virgo because they'll both work for it.
Yeah.
Even I've actually seen a Venus in Leo and Venus in Capricorn, and I think that's interesting, but also because of the, Venus in Leo's love for, and this Venus in Leo's love for nicer things, extravagance, and the Venus in Capricorn's work ethic and insatiability in their work and to build. I could see why the Venus in Leo and Venus in Capricorn could meld in the way that the Venus in Leo encourages, a little bit of frivolousness, like let's actually have fun tonight. And then the Venus in Capricorn is like, we're spending too much money, or like we can't do that right now. We have to work. So I think there could be that, like, even though it's an uncanny combination in traditional astrological thought, I could still see that pairing.
That's a good one. I see Venus with Scorpio as like a power couple. Definitely about getting the material things of life and the money. And I think Venus Capricorn can do really well with Venus and Pisces, where it's like the serious business woman or serious businessman with the like more creative artistic spouse. I've seen that, and I could see that being really nice. I guess an oddball one, I'd have to go to maybe a square. I do agree with you with the Venus Leo, but I would go with maybe the Venus Aries in terms of like there's this work ethic that they both are passionate about where they can kind of like meet. And then the Aries would bring a little bit more fun to the Capricorn. So,
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah, Venus in Capricorn. Once you can trust them, if they're not trying to make money off of you, or like they see you as a potential client or customer, because it really is
Business
generational wealth they're
acquisition, yeah.
building. Yes, they're thinking about the pain. Because it's Saturn and Venus, it's oftentimes like the father lacked resources, their father lacked in some kind of foundational way that made them have to really work super hard in this life to build something for themselves, is what I've seen.
Yeah.
And that usually makes them well-rounded, but it takes them time because it is that the sea goat, it has that water element sometimes to it. It does take them time to mature into that and see how that refine them, how their challenges refine them, whereas they might be in the midst of the pain and like you said, be emotionally resistant from relationships or have that distance, whereas they should realize and see that part of their wealth and their abundance is being in relationship with the correct person, because this is Venus. You must cooperate and collaborate with the correct people that see your higher vision, because Capricorn values status and building. So your partner must see your higher vision and then choose to commit to building as deeply as you commit to building. But please, Venus and Capricorn, do not expect them to do the work for you. You're going to have to do all that work. That's all you. That's
Definitely. And
all
I think
you.
they could do well with Venus Taurus and Venus Cancer, but
Yeah.
I don't love that opposition, but I love them with the trine of Venus Taurus. It's a very practical relationship, though. You know what I mean? I like that. So Venus Aquarius. Oh wow, this is fun. So masculine, fixed air sign. Venus and Aquarius, they love someone unique and different and weird and bizarre and innovative and futuristic. Venus and Aquarius, they're like, oh, I'll date the yoga guru or the astrologer, or I'll date the guy that works at the zoo, or like he's the what do you call it, like a magician, or he juggles, or he's a mime, like or the girl that plays like flute and she rides on dolphins, like you know what I mean. Like Venus and Aquarius, one thing I will say, they're very much about what's good for the collective and the group, and they can very much be into not only esoteric knowledge and astrology, but even like organic and vegan things. They are very friendly, and they care about their social responsibility. So you've got to come with them mentally. I think even to pull in a Venus Aquarius, you can't, they're not going to be attracted to, and this is the men and the women, but they're not going to be attracted to any dodos. Like, don't come like yo, 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 or oh my god, like what? Like, no, they're like bye. They're not even feeling that.
They don't. They
They
don't
won't even
want to.
entertain it because remember, this is Saturn and Uranus, so they are about building, but they need it to be with a twist. They've got to be able to with their partner. They've got to visualize a future if they're going to commit. You know what I mean? Because they tend to like the groups. You know what I mean? People will say, "Oh, this could be Venus Aquarius, could be like a throuple and this and that." I haven't seen that play out that much. I've seen them. They tend to want high level communication, and someone's got to be like almost like they think that they're like a weird genius or a mad scientist. You know what I mean? They've got to be like, "Wow, she's like, oh my god, this lady's brilliant," or they got to be like, "Oh my god, this guy is so different and just abstract." You know what I mean?
It's almost like they see that you can teach them something, or they know you know something they don't know, and they're like, how do they know that? Or
Yeah.
I need to, like, because of they then they you know, they really see the value, Venus's value. They see the value in information they have not yet learned, because they are like sponges for information. They're so receptive to knowledge and futuristic ideas, and
Yeah.
it brings them so much pleasure and so much value and information, because, you know, oftentimes you might see a Venus in Aquarius, depending on the placements, being in some kind of technical or job where it requires a specific set of knowledge, whether it's programming or an art skill or something maybe niche that they're in, that they taught themselves, usually because it's such an independent, you know, thinker and independent person. So when it comes to relationships and Venus in Aquarius, like you're saying, I mean, I know you said your partner, your wife, is Venus in Aquarius, your Venus in Scorpio. So like, do you see the square sometimes in that, or do you feel like
Well,
you
yeah.
found that like
So
perfect?
I think the fix. So air and water is a square that I would definitely recommend more than others, personally. But what I found is that there is that innovation in both. People don't think about that in Scorpio, but like because of the connection to the mysteries and the occult, and the Venus in Aquarius is like the esoteric knowledge, astrology. There's a merging there, right? In terms of like what's next. You know what I mean? What's new? Let's go deeper. And so I think that's the kind of the thrill of it. And they both are very in different ways needing their freedom and independence. So that when they do come together, they're exchanging what they've learned. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of cool. Like it's my wife and I, like it just plays out so perfectly. Like with me, the astrology and the relationship coaching, and she makes organic and vegan body and skincare. And so it's like it's still the health access, and then we're like Virgo and Pisces, so it's all about the health, but in two different ways. You know what I mean? So it's really it's perfect. You know what I mean? I love it. So yeah,
I
and
like
I
that.
one thing I'll say about Venus Aquarius though, they definitely care. They're great friends. She's like a very loyal friend. Still friends with like her two best girlfriends from college. Like Venus Aquarius is very loyal, but you said the key word, like independent. So I can see them with the Leo, I can see them with the Gemini and Libra. It's a little harder. So when I said with the Aries, that was from the Aries point of view. From the Aquarius point of view, they might not like the Aries, Venus Aries. They
Yeah,
really may not.
Aries might be too quick, or might be too impulsive for the Venus Aquarius, just because that
Exactly.
Saturn aspect is still there. So it's not necessarily like Venus Capricorn, where they might be way more reserved, but there's still a kind of a reservation or some kind of like step
Yeah.
back that they like to take when it comes to finances and love.
No, you're right.
Um,
And I think they're really good with the Venus Libra, Venus Sag.
yeah.
Um, in a weird way, Virgo and Pisces too. I could see them with those two. You
Yeah,
know,
Venus Aquarius, Venus Pisces is nice. Venus Aquarius, I think, like you said, it really comes down to if the person is willing to, you know, open up their mind and give them some kind of new thought or idea. So Venus and Sag, Venus Aquarius would be very adventurous, very fun, and amazing together as like philanthropists or philosophers or
Yes,
some
yes.
kind of like higher mission fueling, like even like I could see that like they're running some kind of like spiritual like church or something, like they're just off in this high, right? So yeah,
So
Jenny's
last but not
very
least,
affirmative. Yes,
the
go on.
exaltation, Venus Pisces, feminine mutable water sign. It's exalted here because the Pisces is all about compassion and empathy. And Venus and Pisces, the issue can be the victim stuff and the self sacrificing. But you guys, this is such a pure person in love, male or female. They love a bird, the doctor, the nature, the car, a leaf, a bug, like a butterfly. Like they have got to stop and appreciate all of God's creations. This is the book of Ephesians, agape Christ-like love. This is like so deep. If you like were brought to planet Earth and you wanted to understand what is the human experience of love, or where could the capacity be extended to, think of it. This is Jupiter and Neptune. This is the deep oceans, and then the expansion. This is like, this takes love. Venus and Pisces takes love like to heights that are like literally like those big puffy clouds, and you're standing on clouds, walking in the sky, holding hands, and you're like singing and
Mm-hmm.
skipping. It's beautiful. Like it's really deep, but
Mm-hmm.
they can be also very depressed in love if it's not going the way they want. They can also get involved in escapism or like codependency relationships where they're both using a lot of drugs. So you just have to be really careful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do like them with Taurus and Virgo and Scorpio
Yes.
and
I've
Cancer.
never, yeah, yeah. I've never been in a, actually, now I think about it, I've never been in a dating or relationship with Venus and Pisces, but two of my absolute best friends, like soulmate best friends, one of over 10 years, we met too. This is such a Venus and Pisces thing. I met him and we made eye contact really quick, and I said, "Can you walk me to the bathroom?" And he was like, "Okay." And just from that moment on, we were like, we clicked, we synced in, and
Yeah.
we danced all night on the dance floor. And then, now it's like, I call you if I'm crying, you call me if there's a dilemma, and then we're creating and we're healing and we're, going on these journeys. So,
It's beautiful.
um, yeah, it's definitely a really beautiful person to journey with. Their devotion to love and
Oh,
being love is incredible, and it's very natural for them. They don't really have to do much to just be the
you're
love.
right.
They
It's like breathing to
Yes,
them, right? It's like
it's like
breathing. It's
breathing
like
for them.
they breathe in love, and very intuitive, you guys. This is the love that they may not even say anything. They want to see how you're going to play it out, but they know what you're doing. This is a love that is like 3 steps ahead of you. You know what I mean? They know, like, for just like the little subtlest thing, if you're like being a little distant, and they're like, they know if your eyes wandering. They know, you know what I mean? Like they can be like, "Hey,
They
babe."
feel it.
Yeah, they feel it.
They
They sense
sense
it.
it.
Yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
Yes,
I've
but
had a lot of clients with this placement, and oh my God, their love stories are like, whoa. But
they're
it's
the best
magical.
love stories.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, it's heavy. But you know what? Venus and Pisces, they need they need some grounding. They actually do better with the earth signs. I think you said something earlier that's really true, and I was just thinking as I was saying it. Not so great with the Cancer, a little bit better with the Scorpio, but they can do way better with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And I could see them doing well with Leo. I could see them doing well with Libra. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Libra, Pisces, Venus would be such a cute match. I actually have my best girlfriend that is Pisces Venus, and she gave birth to a Pisces Venus on um, the eclipse
Oh
2 years
wow.
ago. Yeah, so it was amazing. But she is with a Capricorn Venus, and they've been together for 2 years. Had their first child, and it's
Yeah, that Cap
honestly,
Pisces, that's gonna be really nice.
yes. I think staying with them, I really got to feel that deep karma and the
Mm,
deep emotion and the deep building of it all, right? Because it's just two such deep signs, but the devotion and the commitment is so there that they can work. And the earth does ground it because the commitment
yeah,
is there, the practical commitment and the binding. Usually Capricorn Venus will bind their finances, similar to Venus and Scorpio. I've noticed they'll bind their finances because it just makes them feel more connected, and
yeah,
it really does. It's like very intimate for them. So
yeah,
and Venus and Pisces will truly do anything. I think it is
yeah.
kind of like the classic Piscean thing of just not being in an illusion of who that person is. And I think that's also the struggle of being aware of the Pisces Venus as a Pisces Venus, is sometimes questioning, am I an illusion? Or is this not an illusion? Or am I perceiving myself wrong? Or am I perceiving
Right,
them wrong?
right.
Like, perception can be very mystified or
Well,
fogged,
you
you
know
know?
why? Like you said, fog and the rose-colored glasses. Because one thing that can happen, remember, Pisces energy can be very uh, unrealistic and idealistic. So sometimes they can put partners on a pedestal. And often, what I advise my Venus and Pisces clients, you have to, and Pisces risings as well, you have to be careful because they can see the best version of the other person, but that doesn't mean that other person can ever get there or even desires to grow to be there. You know what I mean? So they have to watch out for that because sometimes they're like, oh, they're going to be amazing, but it's not always the case. So that's the issue with Pisces
It's
Venus.
like, yeah, they're gonna be, but in the next lifetime. In the next
Yeah,
lifetime.
it might not be this
Just
lifetime.
like
They're like, oh, just 3 months of my love, they'll be fine. Like, no, 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 no. But I was going to say one thing about Venus and Capricorn. You're right about the merging of finances, but Venus and Capricorn too. They're also when they feel the trust and keyword is respect. If they sense that you respect them, their knowledge and wisdom and their diligence and hard work, then they open up more. You know what I mean? So respect is a big thing for Venus and Capricorn, and
huge.
fame and building. Like, what are we going to build to? In a relationship. So if you're dating a Venus Capricorn, they want to know that you're what are you contributing to the building process. So that's it. Like, any last couple of questions, and this was like, oh my god, we just gave him a full meal. Like, I just feel like
Yes.
you know full. Like, that was perfect.
Yeah, this
Um,
is amazing information. So,
yeah,
well said. Aquarians don't like macho. The men have more female friends, where Aries will knock a woman down like a caveman and throw her over his shoulder for his bed. That is so funny.
yeah.
Pisces are poetic. Jenny said Pisces men can stay away. So Jenny doesn't have good experiences. Sorry, Jenny.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we're sorry to hear that, but that's about it.
Well, I will say I've Pisces men are like on two ends of this pendulum, and I'm not trying to get into the sun sign stuff, but Pisces Venus, but in general, like either Pisces men will be like super stoic, and then like on the side you don't realize that they play guitar or like bang or bongos, but they front like they're not sensitive, but they're super sensitive and stoic. They're the type of guys like it's not technology's changed, but back in the days, if their heart was broken, they would like make the cassette mixtape and like put all their favorite love songs on it. Like, they hold on to love. But the women are very different. They're like bye, they're moving on. But then the other side of Pisces men, because they can get involved in the depression and the alcohol and the drugs, and the other side of Pisces men, they are like very creative and innovative, like really like doing like big things and like creating these things. And you're like, whoa, wow, you're doing that, like, you know what I mean? So, but it's like there's not like much in the middle. I find like they're like either here or here. It's black or white, not
Very extreme
yeah,
sign.
not
Yeah,
gray.
Trini
Yeah.
Girl. Yeah, Trini Girl said, "Wow, awesome. Thank you so much. My
Thank
head
you,
is
Trini girl.
spinning." Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Eric. Like, this is amazing. Jenny said divine. This was divine.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
this helps you everyone feel a little bit more clear about their own Venus sign and possibly their
Yeah.
potential partners or their past partners as well.
Definitely, definitely. And before we wrap up, I want you to share all your information so people can reach out and connect with you and your different services. But I also want to say, you guys, Venus does go retrograde July 22nd in Leo until September 3rd, and it doesn't leave until October 5th. So I always advise, and you let me know if you agree, when Venus is in retrograde, I don't feel like it's time to start a new relationship. I don't honestly even like it to like jump the broom and get married. Like to me, I feel when Venus is in retrograde, it's more introspection time, self-love, self-care, and you kind of got to analyze what are you valuing in possessions and in self. And then to me, I would say, hey, if you got an August wedding, God bless you. But before July 22nd, you could actually do the courthouse. Or if your wedding's already planned, it's August 15th. After September 3rd, just do a little second ceremony. You know what I mean? I just feel I'm sensing this intuitively. Like that's important. I just want to share that with people. I'm never about pumping out any fear or anything like that. But I also am a cheerleader for love, and I want people to like really, if you're doing it, like do it right and be committed, and I hope and I wish everyone the best. So any 2 cents on that, and what are your thoughts with this retrograde?
Well, I totally agree, and I think self-love is the remedy, and I feel like, yeah, if you are getting married during this time or some kind of serious relationship is starting, then my perception could be either, yeah, like you said, try to do a second ceremony or try to postpone or try to, whatever. But also, if it is, divinely aligned, if you feel like it's the perfect time, with the retrograde, maybe this is because it's a very introspective love that you're entering, where you both are doing the inner work and you both are doing the reflection. So, and you both are doing the self-love work, which is super amazing. So if that's the case, congratulations.
No, that's, that is so great and so right, and you're right, and I think that it's I think we forget so often. Right now, Juno just moved into Cancer. We've got to also always take time for self-love and self-care, you guys, because once you have the self-love, then you can vibrate and attract that true harmony you mentioned earlier, Valeria, in terms of really energetically finding your match. Because really, any of these Venus placements can work when you're on your highest vibration, you guys, and you have self-love first. Okay, so always remember how important that is, and it's just the best advice I could give. And retire from the negative self-talk, especially Venus and Virgos. Be kind to yourself.
Yes, gotta throw that out again because they just don't get it the first time. But yeah, Jenny said, preach.
Thank you, Jenny. Oh, wow. It's so great. And I love, make sure you guys also, I know, please make sure you like this and comment after we post it, because it helps it in the algorithms, and subscribe. And I want them to follow you. So please share how people can contact you. It's in the description, but I want you to share it. People can, connect with you for services or gain wisdom from you, or just even support all your social media. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, well, thank you everyone that watched, and if you feel called and you feel like you are connecting with me and my energy and you want to go deeper with me and explore this realm with me, then you can follow me on Sophia at Sophia_astrology on Instagram, or at Tantrika, Tantrika, Sophia on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel and my second account on Instagram. As well as my website is tantrikasophia.com, where I offer readings, couple of readings, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour astrophotography, and I'm actually about to open up some new offerings, and so many things are cooking up. This Venus portal is getting me super excited because it is my Venus, and even though it's retrograde, I think it's bringing me deeper within into my own creative self. So I'm definitely
awesome.
excited. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful, my friend. Yeah, a little Venus return for you. So that's
Yes. Thank you.
should be always a positive experience, and creativity and self-expression, from the heart. So
Yeah.
that's like perfect. So this was awesome and amazing. And yeah, I wish everybody well.
Yeah. I
And
wish everyone well.
all right, you guys. Thank you, Valeria, for joining me. This was so awesome, my friend. God bless you. You guys in the audience, please like and subscribe, follow us and stuff like that. And hey, episode 143, Knowledge of Love. Knowledge is love. Biggie Astrology.